Sanibonani. This is an isiZulu greeting to a group of people or an elder. I'm Toni. It's an honor to support today's church service as part of Week of Prayer for Christian Unity. I wanted to start by formally introducing myself, as I'm still finding my footing here at Holy Trinity Church. I was reflecting that a sense of unity is a result of creating space for people to get to know parts of you. It felt fitting to greet you in my ancestral language. I was born in Zimbabwe, and my paternal family is from Malawi. This picture you see here on the right is of me and my cousin Martha, taken by my mother in April 1993 in Bulawayo, where I was born and raised. It was taken 2 months after my father, Alec, transitioned a week before his 30th birthday. I reflect on how in this picture, holding hands with my cousin, it feels she's holding my hand through the grief, then and now. My relationship with Martha and the loss of my father, Alec, has been a reminder that love never dies. Martha has taught me about the power of forgiveness and humility in cultivating peace and restoring balance within personal and family dynamics. My fond memories of our close bond confirm the power of prayer and restoring harmony, loyalty, and unity within the family. This homily today is a testimony of how my experience at Holy Trinity has reinforced my commitment to my calling and path to ministry. The verse for Week of Prayer for Christian Unity is Ephesians 4, 1-13. And when I was reflecting on that, it's really been beautiful to feel that and experience the transformation that I've had since being at Holy Trinity. I was baptized in and attended the Seventh-day Adventist Church, both in Zimbabwe and in Canada. I made the decision in early adulthood I needed space to unpack and heal differently, separate from this environment. The Church of the Holy Trinity has restored my faith in churches and it reinforced my faith as a Christian. I've always loved being inside a church or any place of worship or prayer. I could always connect to common threads that unite all of us as believers of one God who is over all and through all and in all. Through this community, I'm learning how to feel safe in church. I'm learning how to cultivate and lean into a sense of belonging, of being one body and one spirit in a way that feels both freeing and uplifting. I feel I could show up as myself and be received as that. For the first time in my life, at 35 years old, I can genuinely and wholeheartedly say, I love my church. I love my pastor. She rocks. She's amazing. Pastor Pam inspires me. It's because of her I feel more connected to a neighborhood I've lived in for more than 10 years, but wasn't integrated into in a meaningful and nourishing way. Holy Trinity is a place I found just for me. It's a sanctuary. It's a balm for my heart. It's where my spirit feels restored to go tackle all the things that come with walking in your calling. And there are plenty. Yes, you do, Rod Pam. It's a community I want to belong to. After I met with Pastor Pam in April of 2025, I immediately knew this was the place for me. Meeting Pastor Pam for the first time, I felt at ease. I felt relaxed. I felt her warmth and wisdom, her deep care and devotion to this community and her colleagues. In my eyes, Pastor Pam is the embodiment of walking in your calling with humility, gentleness, patience, and genuine love. My very first church service was on Palm Sunday, April 13th, and my love continues to grow for this community every encounter. And I'm so grateful and blessed to have this and call this my church home. Part of me enjoying church for the first time in adulthood is I'm positioning myself as a toddler, in that I've wiped the slate clean on my previous church experience that felt restrictive. Keeping with kindergarten simplicity, I wanted to learn what a homily is in simple terms. So I did some research. I now understand a homily to be delivering a living message from God. It is the echo of the gospel. It is the visible face of the word. A homily not only informs, but transforms. Its purpose is to nourish faith, inspire conversation, strengthen hope, and help guide. Finally, I learned a homily can be a place where your faith is awakened or radically strengthened. This is true for me. Preparing for this homily was healing, liberating, sobering, and anchoring. I'll unpack these shortly. First, I'll share the spark that led to me learning about Week of Prayer. It was through a Toronto City Council meeting, of all things. On occasion, I like to multitask and listen to City Council live broadcasts. It's a good way for me to see what needs to be prayed for in the city. Intercessory prayer for our city as a fortress and peace shield we need for the times we're in. During December 16 City Council meeting live stream, Councillor Lily Chang expressed gratitude to Mayor Olivia Chow for her proclamation of Christian Heritage Month in December. I transcribed her speech, which I will read to you as expressed, word by word. Councillor Lily Chang says, I rise to express my deep gratitude to Mayor Chow for her proclamation of Christian Heritage Month in December. I thank Councillors Nick Mantis, Francis Nunziata, Vincent Crisanti, and Jamal Myers, who co-hosted a celebration here at City Hall last Friday night, December 12th. It was a beautiful evening of singing and prayer, and a reminder of how sweet it is when people can gather in unity. We celebrate the amazing work of so many churches and faith-based organizations that build community, serve those in need, and foster a much-needed sense of belonging for so many across the city. While the message of Christmas has been significantly commercialized, we take a moment and remember the reason for the season, that God would come in the vulnerability of a baby born in lowly circumstances and show true power is expressed through sacrificial love and humility, so opposite to what the world defines as power these days. I'm grateful for all churches in Toronto, the work they do across our city, and I'm grateful that I live in a country where I could worship in freedom. And I hope those who celebrate Christmas across our city can enjoy a holiday season that is filled with hope, peace, and love. That was my first time learning about Christian Heritage Month. And it was great seeing that being highlighted during a city council meeting. After a couple of clicks researching online, I ended up on the Canadian Council of Churches, where I learned about the Week of Prayer for Christian Unity. Shortly after, I shared this with Pam, asking if our church was participating. And here we are today. I'm always amused at how God works. I personally love that a Toronto City Council live stream created a spark of curiosity that resulted in a deepening of my prayer life, faith, and love of church. I see now that part of the meeting was a public demonstration of God. I see now that part of the meeting was a public demonstration of unity of the faith and God already building up the body of Christ, even in City Hall. Brief research on Christian Heritage Month led me to learn about the Private Members Bill 83, introduced by MPP Stephen Blaze on December 1st of 2025. The act proposes to designate December as Christian Heritage Month. The act has passed through first reading. It felt fitting to read this bill in observance of Week of Prayer. It's succinct and reads as follows. From the earliest days before Confederation and the founding of Upper Canada, Christian pioneers of various denominations have played a significant role in shaping the cultural, social, and artistic development of Ontario. Today, Ontario's Christian community encompasses a rich diversity of backgrounds, including Latin American, European, First Nations, African, Asian, and Middle Eastern heritage. This diverse community continues to strengthen Ontario's social, economic, political, and cultural fabric, contributing to a province that is welcoming, vibrant, and inclusive of all faiths. Designating December as Christian Heritage Month in Ontario will provide all Ontarians, including future generations, an opportunity to reflect upon, celebrate, and learn about the deep historical roots and enduring contributions of the vast Christian community across our province. December is particularly appropriate as the birth of the Christian Messiah, Jesus Christ, is celebrated annually at the end of the month. Promoting this understanding will also foster greater interfaith dialogue by encouraging mutual respect and shared knowledge. Let this be a reminder. God is always in every room, and like a tuning fork, will always synchronize and syncopate his apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers to reinforce the bonds of peace. Let this be an intercessory call to action to pray for those in power and political leadership to operate in a renewed way that nestles those in need in our communities. I pray for our leaders that they may lay down the weapons of division and take up the one spirit of service. May a sobering clarity descend upon the halls of power, replacing the chaos of strife with the bond of peace. We pray for a leadership that operates with the nurturing heart, one that actively nestles the marginalized and abandoned, ensuring that every part of our social body is held together in care. We'll now transition to art that I wanted to add a bit of color and vitality. It's kind of fitting of the weather today. But I found some art that I feel depicts the themes highlighted in Ephesians 4, 1-13. So I'm going to share that with you now.
Listen.
So I did some searching, and it was a bit of a beautiful process of how God speaks in all mediums and formats. And for me, art and creative expression has been a really beautiful way to deepen that relationship. My background, as you would have seen, is this city. I call it City on a Hill, but it's from Nuit Blanche in 2014. I like the name of it, Global Rainbow, which when I reflect on my experience around the city, it really always feels like this beautiful rainbow and mosaic of encounters with God, if you're looking for it and present to it. On the left here, when I pray for the city, in my communion with God, led me to relate to our beloved landmark as the CN prayer tower. The vision in my mind is of God's finger reaching out, as in the creation of Adam imagery, and gently positioning itself at the apex of the CN tower to create a rainbow of peace, a peace shield or a bubble. The global rainbow was a large art-scale sculpture from the 2014 Nuit Blanche, as I shared. And it's meant to be a symbol of hope and diversity. And as we acknowledge Week of Prayer between these two visuals, it felt like a way that if this is the apex and God's finger should ever so gently draw it towards us, that is a form of grace that is given to each of us according to the measure of Christ's gift. And in my playful way of communing with God, I've now come to associate the CN Tower as the prayer tower. And for today's service, maybe it'll inspire you to look at it a little bit differently as a bond of peace and a unity shield. Further to my testimony, I've really grown in this church and really am walking in the principles and themes of Ephesians 4, 1-13. I participated in Bible studies with Eric, with Pastor Pam, which further deepened just everything in my spiritual life. This was a highlight of last year for me. I never would have thought that I would have chosen to spend my birthday in two separate churches, but it felt so fitting. On my birthday, June 22nd, I started the day at 10 with my favorite people at my favorite place, observing and supporting Eric's baptism and receiving my own confirmation. And it felt like the blessedest way to start a new year. I later went to the Legacy Labyrinth workshop, Lunch and Learn at Metro United Church. And I've been learning of how to use the labyrinth in a collective way to join for a collective cause. For that particular day, we focused on Toronto's unhoused. And I ended the day at the prayer tower. And this is the picture. And this was me beaming love to my city and my church. And I was filled truly with all of the blessings that I'd received and teachings from Pastor Pam and just a wonderful community here. So I wanted to bring that back and share that with you. I'll send a link that maybe can be shared, but this is just a snippet of me last year supporting the designation of our Toronto Public Labyrinth, our neighbor. This is Pastor Pam, who gave wonderful opening words. We had City Councillor Chris Moyes, who I've been supporting when I'm able to. It's been wonderful getting to know him and sharing a little bit of the church. And up here is a picture of me and Joe, who is the Labyrinth steward, and Michael, who often supports with the music. And my hope is to continue to create a level of unity and community in supporting more awareness of the labyrinth as a really beautiful and supportive prayer tool. And as we close my time for this homily, I wanted to share a really transformative piece that allowed me to take my sense of community at Church of Holy Trinity with my ministers and trading colleagues through our Egypt pilgrimage. I was in Egypt October for just under 3 weeks, and I wanted to share with you all my visit to Old Cairo. I went to Alexandria and Luxor. And I just want to give you a moment to sort of take in what's here. I'll walk you through it. I went to the oldest church in Cairo, and here we have the well that the Holy Family drank from. We got to walk through the underground cavern that they would have lived at. I got to participate and support in a holy water baptism at this font here. And over here in the underground cavern is this beautiful picture of our Jesus Christ. This is in Luxor. I participated in a hot air balloon. And when I saw those hot air balloons ascending, it reminded me of perhaps what it looks like visually to God for our prayers to have the different color and shapes and just fill the sky. So it was really beautiful being in a hot air balloon and seeing them just covered. And it reminded me of the power of prayer, that if you could see a prayer, perhaps it might look like this. Rainbow hot air balloons. It was really beautiful. The bottom piece here, we went to a church in Alexandria, and it reminded me of the power of prayer. In this place, the forces of evil and terrorism have attempted to bombard this church. Nevertheless, the Lord's providence has intervened to keep it safe. Gratitude for always being safe. I went to the Alexandria Library, and there was a museum there where I got to see pictures of President Sadat and this concept and coverage of the sacred mission, which also links to the theme of Christian unity, how you go about walking in your calling and keeping it sacred and giving that out to those who need it and to those you've been called to serve. And that's the path that I'm still finding myself walk through. It was beautiful seeing all of the different places of worship there. The mosque, the Church of Arbusaga, Church of St. Barbara, the Ben Ezra Synagogue, the Coptic Museum, the Hanging Church, the Fortress of Babylon. And even though I am apart from my mother, it was beautiful to find a kindred spirit that even apart, this picture here, the turquoise is me, and somehow I felt my mother's love and presence through somebody I got to meet for the first time after years of just seeing them across the street. Another echo that love never dies and there is no distance. And finally, adding a pop of color. Ever since I completed my Bible classes and baptism with Pastor Pam, I've come to learn how I've gone through almost cycles of baptisms just naturally. We participated in a 3 or 4 day cruise on the Nile. And one of the earlier parts of that trip, we got to visit the Nubian village. This is the boat that we arrived in, me with the fan here. And as we arrived at the Nubian village, I entered the water, took off my shoes. This is me here. The water was a little bit cold. I thought I definitely won't go in. A few people were swimming. As soon as I said I will not go in, it's as though something pulled my foot and I fell and I'm in the water. And this picture here you see is an impromptu baptism, spontaneous baptism. As soon as I landed in that water, it felt, again, I was in Church of Holy Trinity baptism, but different. And I just laid back. And normally I'm so afraid of floating in water. I don't feel safe enough to. But this day, something held me and I floated. And the hand that you see is my teacher, Reverend Karima, who was then now realizing I am receiving a baptism. And she gave me a baptism. And it's just deepened and helped me connect the bridge that even in this moment in Egypt on the Nile, in my heart, I was remembering my Church of Holy Trinity baptism. And as we close on the right here, just the hospitality of the people here, the sense of community. This is somebody's home. They open up their home to visitors, such as the group I went with for my pilgrimage. We were offered mint tea, hibiscus tea, food, and we were able to go into their homes and rooms and see how they live. And it felt truly that even in Egypt, I felt connected and I felt united. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this community. And I thank you for your time. I'm complete.